What if I told you individualism is hurting our culture and it has taken us as far as it can in terms of producing valuable change? Hello, my name is Gideon Williams, and I'm here to convince you that pure individualism has hit a ceiling in terms of beneficial change and productivity. And to move that ceiling up and continue the change, we need to rethink what the main objective of a culture should be. Since this is such a large and nuanced conversation, I'm here to just start the thought process to make you think about the limits that pure individualism has. I'm going to start by talking about why I think pure individualism is outdated and serves a purpose that no longer exists. We're going to take a closer look at individualism as we usually think about it, and its strengths and its weaknesses. And then lastly, I'm going to propose collectivism as a possible valuable addition to what we see in individualism. So what do I have against individualism? A mindset that has shaped most of what we have come to value in the Western world. Nothing, except that it leaves out a valuable part that any foundational mindset and paradigm needs when looking at the role of individuals in society, the application part. Pure individualism, as defined by Sigdem Kagitsibasi in Individualism and Collectivism, found in the Handbook of Cross-Cultural Psychology, is the paradigm that holds the individual's well-being and protection as the most sacred objective, whereas collectivism is the view that will hold the greater good of the whole of society as the main objective. Now, these definitions were a condensement of what the author had to say on these two topics, but this is how I will be talking about these two mindsets and paradigms in this presentation. Regina Gagnier, in her The Law of Progress and the Ironies of Individualism in the 19th century, talks about the division of labor. And I would attribute the division of labor as a fruit of individualism. It protects what the individual is good at, and then from that can better society. And this is great, but this is I would say a more isolated thing that's happened, where division of labor is very established in our culture and the way we do things, where what I may be good at, I may be good at making food, but you may be good at building things, and so we have this trade-off where you supply me with food, and I'll supply with you with food, and you'll supply me with furniture, or we'll pay for services or whatever. So this is already established, and that's one of the easiest ways to think about what individualism has given. Although individualism has had and still has certain merits and has contributed certain things, it can never completely achieve the goal of change that we're trying to get it to. And more intense individualism is not the answer that's going to get us to where we want to be. And so let's take a closer look at individualism and what I think the main problem with it is. And again, I think it lacks an application part. The way that we usually think about individualism is viewing individualism as the higher good, instead of looking at it as a tool to obtain a higher good. Individualism makes it hard to create strong originality. Thomas Talham, in Why Your Understanding of Collectivism is Probably Wrong, which is an article where he talks about a study that was done within a company. They had two groups of people. Both were completed a set of preliminary tasks that primed individualistic thinking, and then they separated the two groups. One group worked alone to come up with slogans for the company that they would have been familiar with, and then the other group worked with 2 or 3 other people on the same task to create slogans. And they found that those who were primed with individualistic mindset and put in a group produced more slogans as well as more original slogans than those who worked by themselves. And so then you had an added collectivistic group where this person may be good at coming up with an idea, this person may be good at editing, and this person may be really good at making the pitch. Instead of one person having to do it all, they have to be good at it all, or they'll be slower in certain areas. And so again, you see the division of labor come out. And that's something that individualism has been great at in providing that foundation. So let's look at a view that helps individualism use its strengths and uphold those while moving past upholding those and looking at another, the greater good. And that's collectivism, which allows the pros of individuality to remain, but also kind of adds a layer of unity and interdependence that alone individualism wouldn't have. The way I kind of think about this intersection is you have a society, right? Or society, which is an ideal, which is the group of individuals. But you have the group that's trying to support individuals. This is for individualism. You have a group that's trying to support individuals that have different needs, that have different strengths, and it's really hard for that to work all by itself. But if you flip that over, you've got, at your base, you've got individuals with all these different skills, all these different strengths that are upholding society at a higher level, to where the individual doesn't bear all of the weight alone. And since the individual takes care of themselves and then will take care of those around them, that builds up society that way, to where the individuals, the unique needs that they have, they're taken care of. But then they reach out and connect with people because they have needs. Everyone's going to have needs past that. And so it's kind of a cohesive application to help other people. And again, this is very nuanced, and by no means do I think that I've closed the conversation, but hopefully I've helped you start thinking about the limits of pure individualism. So we talked about why I think that individualism is outdated. We looked at the strengths and weaknesses of individualism, and we've looked at how I think collectivism could come in and add an extra layer of application, something that I think that individualism needs, even though individualism serves as a great foundation. So in closing, individualism and its application have a foundational role in our society. But we need to make sure that we're using that tool in a way to maximize its usefulness and take the next step toward a higher goal by combining it with views and that provide applications to achieve a higher goal. Thank you.